you're rolling up.
All right, okay. So I'm going to go through the breakdown. Why did Samson win? Look at him. I mean, I think it's pretty clear as to why he won. But for those who are still asking that question, why he beat Nick and Andrew, hopefully this can give a better explanation. I'm going through the breakdown real quick as to why judges, how they judge, and why he won. So let's start with, actually, we're going to go a little bit back to the 7th, 5th, and 6th place, even 4th, before we talk about the top 3. So Bonac was number 7. He was downsized. As you can see there, even him next to Sean Clarita. Sean Clarita is like tiny and shredded. Sean Clarita looked really good. You have there on the far right Akeem. So Bonac's on the left at the bottom. And he's like a Jamaican man. I thought he was Jamaican, but he's like from Netherlands. His legs are a little downsized, and that's the biggest difference. There's not as much detail as there used to be. His waist is a little bit not as clear as it used to be. His arms are still good, especially one arm, the left arm. But his stomach and, it's almost like he's lost some pieces here and there, the detail. Look at the guy next to him right in the middle at the bottom, Sean Clarita. He's a little guy. He normally competes at 212. These guys next to him around 250, 260, 270, 280. And he sticks out because he's got so much more detail. You can see more lines through him, his ab lines, leg lines, bicep and tricep lines, his intercostals and serratus. Like, you can see a lot more, even in a front double bicep. You have Akeem on the far right at the bottom. This guy's a beast. He's just massive. He can just never nail his conditioning, even though he did really well this time. It's just not the same as much as detail as the guys right above, and you can kind of tell from the bottom to the top. 4th is on the far right at the top, Big Ramy. Big Ramy was a Mr. Olympia, which is impressive just on its own, who's just coming back from some quad and some, I guess he had a few issues. So his quads and arms were downsized. His back also, for some reason, lower lat insertions were kind of blurred, as if like they couldn't even flare out fully when he did his poses. So it's pretty good to see him in 4th. I think he's just coming back. I think, are they trying to force his hand to like retire or anything like that? I don't think so. I think they're just trying to say like, you still got work to do, bud. Even though he's a Mr. Olympia just a couple years ago. Now 3rd place is on the far left, and that's Andrew Jacked. As you can see there, he's got so much detail in the upper body, but his lower body just kind of lacks the detail, and that's kind of why he loses to those two guys next to him, is those legs. The detail in his quads is just not as much, and then when you turn him around, same thing. The back is a little bit thinner and not as much details as the other two. Now 2nd and 1st, this is where the controversy lies, where Nick, a lot of people would have Nick winning, and you can look at them both and be like, yeah, like Nick could win. Like, to a lot of people, Nick catches your eye when you just look at the top, and to a lot of people, Samson catches your eye. So when it comes to judging, the judges go through quite a few different, you have different reasons why you're going to judge someone, or how you're going to score someone, sorry. So you have first the fact that you have 3 rounds, right? So 3 rounds, this is going to be your testing your balance of size, your symmetry, your muscularity. Sorry about that. So you have those, and then you have to go based on the averages overall. So round 1 is symmetry. This is like your muscle size, your portions, the body. You're judged using 4 symmetry poses. These are called quarter turns. So quarter turn to the right, quarter turn to the right, 4 times, right? Front relax, side pose, side once again, and then rear relaxed, and back to the front. So symmetry round can take a while. They can kind of jump people around, but that's your first round. Round 2 is muscularity. Now this is where muscle size and condition are being, judged next to each other. You have to make sure you're low body fat. You're going to go through 8 mandatory poses, like front double biceps, front lat spread, side tricep, side chest, rear double bicep, rear lat spread, abdominals and thighs, and your most muscular of choice. So that's your muscularity round. That's round 2, and that's what you'll be doing. And in a bodybuilding show, only for bodybuilding, not that physique. They have like different for bikini physique, all the others. But muscularity, that's like your go-to. A lot of people, when you see them in the gym, they're working out, they're getting a good pump, they'll quickly like strike a pose. That's typically your front lat, double bicep, side tri, all the above. That's what you see a lot of people hitting in the mirrors, is somewhat a variation of the pose, because they may not know exactly how to hit the poses right. And then your third round is your free posing and your pose down. This is where the physique of the athletes judge just performing off to their own solo routine and music. This is a fun part. I think this is the artistic part that kind of gets left out sometimes. You got 30 to 90 seconds to show your months and years worth of progress. So it's so crazy to think like you work all this time, you've gotten in shape, and you've dieted like crazy, you're near death, and then you have only 30 seconds to 90 seconds to show it off, and that's it. That's like for your own, like by yourself, and then you're being judged from then on as far as like next compared to other people, right? But this round, the third round, allows you to like display your strengths and make sure to hide your weaknesses. Okay, that's your biggest thing when it comes to posing, is only show your strengths. Don't worry about your weaknesses. That will be shown in the round 1 symmetry and round 2 muscularity round. And so yeah, just keep that in mind. This one is they're not always scored. They score this like separately sometimes. And also, you might be judged just off of presentation, like your stage, your prowess, your skin tone, how well the tanning was done, and the sheen and the presence that you have on stage. And then with scoring, now the actual scoring itself, you'll have like at least 7 judges, and they'll take the average. That's about it. So you'll have your highest and your lowest, and they remove those scores, so it's more balanced. So the highest and lowest scores for each competitor is removed, and then that's going to produce your final score, right? And then once you go through your poses, right, you have your mandatories, all that. You're kind of going off next to each other, comparing your comparison rounds, as they call it too. And then you'll go ahead and have your free posing routine as well. That's typically at night. That's your post show, and this is where they're also being judged. And they want to make sure you're really showing off what you have, and then of course your pose down at the end, which is kind of fun. This is where the competitors kind of go head to head with each other, and you'll see them like kind of fighting for the stage, fighting for the middle of the stage for the best lighting. Some will go up front, farther out front. So in the end, in short, how they're judged and how Samson won is they took the score of all the judges. They took away the extreme high numbers. Like some judges may give someone like, man, this guy sucks, so I'm gonna give him like a 9 or 15, right? That's super out there, versus like a 5 or 6. And some like, holy crap, I love this guy, I'm gonna give him a 3. So they'll take the extremes, take them away, and then take your average, and that's for 7 judges. And then you have a head judge who has the highest weight when it comes to his final say. So you want to make sure it does please the highest judge, of course pleases all of them, and it's the overall. So when it comes to Samson, it just overall, he didn't lose in as many shots. He won. He was just more well-rounded overall. When it came to just his appearance of hitting all those symmetry, muscularity, and this posing, he won the most. Nick, it's debatable. He could have totally won. He totally could have. He came in a little flat. They said a little downsized, so the pop factor that he normally has, like he did in the Olympia, was a little diminished. You can tell a little bit in the legs, just like in the chest, a little fullness was lacking, just a tiny bit. So maybe it was that. It could have been that, but we really don't know. You'd have to ask the judges. But he did come down a little bit like streamlined compared to the Olympia, him. And then Samson, on the other end, where you compare him from the Olympia to now, you can tell the difference. He was more full, but yet more lean. So I would say he barely won. But it's a win nonetheless. The first British winner. So, good job. That's a historic event right there. But I hope that helps as far as for when it comes to judging a show. It's more than just like, hey, I like you politics-wise, and I see your face a lot. Because Nick, by far, is the most popular on that stage when it comes to the top 7, besides Rami, I would say. Rami probably has a little bit more fans. It's debatable. Him and Nick have a ton of fans. And then you have someone who doesn't have as many fans, like, Samson, and Andrew Jack taking first and third. So it's not politics. It's not because they FaceTime because they see you more often. It literally was a base off of all those 3 things, and then it was all 7 judges coming to accordance. Like, Samson, here's the scorecard. Samson had the best overall, pre-judging and at finals. So there you go. I hope that helps. For me, it was fun to watch. This was by far the most close and intense Arnold I've seen. And yeah, it was kind of fun to just do a quick breakdown. Obviously, a lot has happened since. from this time. We've had a training with Sebum and Ramon. Urs was sick at the Olympia and still took second place, which is pretty impressive. So a lot has happened. Just thought I would want to break this down real quick. And as always, have a good